Why did you guys have to tell me about Snow White? Why couldn't we have kept every other Disney fairy tale with like a happy little ending, wrap it in a pretty little bow? Why did you guys have to tell me about Snow White? Because Snow White is so much worse than The Little Mermaid. And there's more than one version of this too. Just in case you don't have a childhood and you've never seen Snow White, let me give you a little recap. Well, Disney's 1937 movie Snow White stars the main character, you guessed it, Snow White. She has pale skin, red lips, and dark hair. Well, she has a stepmother who is deeply insecure and always goes to this magic mirror that she owns asking who's the fairest of them all. And for the longest time, the queen was that bitch, so the mirror always responds saying that she was the fairest in all the land. Another day, another ego boost. Until one day, he makes the mistake of answering that Snow White was the fairest. And because she can't be having none of that in her town, she decides to order a huntsman to go and kill Snow White. But I guess this man has a conscience, and once he gets there, he can't kill this poor child. He runs off to the woods, ends up finding a cottage which is housing 7 dwarves. The 7 dwarves invite her in, she's able to find refuge with them, but at some point the stepmother ends up finding out that Snow White is still alive. So she decides to dress herself up as an old lady and kill her with a poison apple. And shockingly, this works. But karma gets to this queen pretty quick because she ends up getting struck by lightning. And then Snow White is saved by True Love's kiss and ends up getting to run off with the prince. Well, the original story was dropped by the Grimm brothers in 1812. However, the final kid-friendly adaptation didn't come out till 1857. And I'm gonna tell you both. Well, the story starts with a queen who's sewing by the windowsill, looking out the window at the snow falling, and she accidentally pricks herself and then watches her 3 drops of blood fall into the snow. She has this totally everyday mundane thought. What if I had a daughter who was white as snow, red as blood, and black as the ebony windowsill? Huh? I guess God was listening because some years later she ends up being given a girl that fits this perfect description. The story really begins whenever Snow White is, guess how old? 7. And despite her being exactly what her mother manifested, her mother decided, she's actually too pretty and actually too many people like her. I'm jealous. And this jealousy ultimately ends up hitting a breaking point whenever she asks her magic mirror one morning, hey, who's the fairest in all the land? The mirror responds with, and I quote, you, my queen, are fair, it's true, but Snow White is 1,000 times fairer than you. Like, damn. This woman is so insecure that she decides to hire a huntsman to go out, kill her 7-year-old daughter, cut her open, bring back her heart and lungs so she can salt it and eat it. And this isn't even as bad as this story gets. Go to the next part.